Incredible class. Like, I'm just still kind of like, wow, with everything, dude. This has really been something very special, very unique. I'm very truly touched, man. I mean, I don't know if you don't know me very well, but I'm like a seminar junkie. All right, I'm one of those guys, and I go all over the country, traveling to do seminars and classes and everything. And I have to say, like, I haven't been touched at one like I have at this one. So thank you for that, Dmitry. Seriously, it doesn't matter what we record. Nobody will ever know what it's truly like unless they come to one of these things. Because it's seriously special, guys. Like, I'm not just like blowing smoke up your ass here, okay? Like, and because I mean, some of the things you talked about, like, I didn't even realize that, like, the whole. I mean, I've heard of companies kind of like going storm chasing and then like going bankrupt, and then like, you know, leaving leaving and not paying. Like, I've heard that before. Yeah. But the way you kind of described it was like, you kind of see that there's a lot of storm roofing companies that are like pretty much straight up Ponzi schemes, where they're sort of like taking money from Peter to pay Paul type situation, right? That was very interesting. And then they'll just kind of go into a town, like do as much as they can, and then like just kind of leave and like leave a trail of disaster behind them. Have you seen that in your kind of in your dealings and stuff like that?
Happens all the time. Those are the companies who usually end up on the news. We recently just seen Mastercraft is one of the latest. They used to be here in Minneapolis. Just literally came a couple days on Facebook. Matt Spanton used to run it. I think he sold it or something. Pretty big company. Used to be 50 million. Used to do like 25, 30 million here. Just one of the examples, but there's so many of them. It doesn't matter how big the size is. If you're running Ponzi scheme, whether it's 25, 30, 40 million, sooner or later, if you take all the money from the business, it'll collapse. It happens all the time because you cannot run efficient business. I mean, it's hard to be roofing contractors when you're local and you're run by the same family for years in the same town. Imagine if you're traveling, and imagine if you add all the travel expenses, all the recruiting expenses, setting up. I mean, it's just, and plus a lot of guys, they're so desperate on the road, they start paying more for labor, more to sales guys, start promising unrealistic bonuses or pay structures just to get stuff done. Because, you know, if you are local trying to do things right, you have certain rates you pay. Now, when you come in and disrupt the market, you're desperate. Nobody knows you. How are you going to hire a crew? Well, the best way or easiest way is to promise them more. The same goes with the sales guys. Well, how you can promise them more? Like, are you getting paid more? Are you telling me the insurance paying you more? No. Are you telling me you're going to pay yourself less? What's more believable? I mean, you already have that, you know, fancy lifestyle, so less likely that you're going to pay yourself less. More likely, you're going to start screwing people or not delivering your promises. So, not necessarily a Ponzi scheme, but there's a different pattern of broken promises, and it's very known in the roofing industry. That's why.
Yeah, well, so what you're doing with your classes, you're trying to you're trying to educate people to kind of run their business in a little more conservative way, where they can, you know, they're not doing those kinds of practices and creating like a long-term business that can, you know, potentially even outlast the owner. Because I mean, you're doing these classes, your business is still running right over there, and you've kind of like been able to kind of create that here, and that's kind of what you're showing us what to do more or less. Right?
Well, I want to highlight the clean business model. There's a lot of guys who do it right, but they're humble, they're not in your face, they're not shining. But I envy those guys. You know, like Warren Buffett. You know, he's known for eating McDonald's, or you know, very simple lifestyle, driving the same car for 10 years. Like Bezos driving Honda Accord for years, and he's the richest man on earth. I envy those guys. That's this lifestyle I personally love. I don't know how you can be so humble in our industry, in our culture. It's, you know, it's always opposite, but I want people to know that it's not about the car you drive, it's how much money you have in the bank. You know, do you have money to pay your cruise every Friday. Those things that should be put on a pedestal. Not we in our industry these days. I think for years, and it has to change. We've been talking way too much about sales, and now I love the shift to talk about culture, to talk about cruise, to talk about other important stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people on Facebook were commenting some questions that they wanted to hear.
Sure.
And so I wanted to kind of address it. One of it was Josh Bigger. Not to be, I don't want to gossip at all, but that was sort of controversial. I mean, you even had cancellations at some of your classes because Josh Bigger was attending. Yeah. So Josh Bigger's a real human being, right? But he has this character, and I have a feeling that people think the character is actually him. And like, have you seen? I don't know him. Have you seen that? He has an actual character, sort of like. That crazy guy that does all the stuff on Facebook or on YouTube, but then he's like a real person who has like a good quality. He does really good quality work. I've seen some of his roofing pictures and videos. I mean, the kind of stuff he does with roofs is pretty incredible, like metal roofing and whatnot. What's your experience there?
Every actor has personality, but also person behind the actor himself. Like for example, Jack Ryan or like Keanu Reeves. He plays certain guys. Why does he play certain guys like the badass? Because, if you're a comedian, you're probably funny in life. Not always, but most of the time you are. Yeah. If you're badass in real life, you're more likely to work out. And so guys like Josh Bigger, of course, he is goof in life too. But I met different best dam roofer in my life. I met different Josh Bigger. Like I know him as a very good human being, very smart kid, and I respect him, and I've seen it before most people have seen it. Like people, when I interview him and when I kind of unveiled that real Josh Bigger, it was not a surprise to me, but I wanted to expose him to the world. I wanted people to meet real Josh Bigger.
Gotcha.
And I met him personally like 3 years ago with him and Tanya at a conference. First time I interviewed them, and then like that was not enough. Like I want people to know real Josh Bigger, and he's doing great things now.
Yeah. Like you grew up in Siberia, right? And like you grew up. What was your parents? What did your parents do for work in Siberia?
My mom was always stay-home mom. I was raised by my mom. My dad was a truck driver. He was always somewhere in the middle of Siberia doing some trucking.
So is Siberia like -50 like all the time?
Not all the time, but my sister's birthday is June 27. One of her birthday, we have snow on her birthday.
Okay.
So it can snow in June, it can snow in September. It doesn't happen all the time. You can get, 80 degrees in the summertime, but the sky usually gray. It's very depressing in the wintertime. It gets dark like 3 o'clock, so you don't have enough oxygen in the wintertime. I think it's like 20%, so you're always sleepy. That's why Russians are meaner, because we just don't get enough sun. We just it's moody. It affects you, like all the grayness of life.
How big was your family?
I'm oldest of 7 kids.
You're the oldest of 7, and you have 5 kids yourself, so you're kind of used to having a big family.
Yeah, always wanted it.
And what do you do for fun when you're growing up in Siberia?
I love playing basketball, soccer.
Indoor sports?
Indoor, outdoor, doesn't matter.
Okay. Do you feel like you had sort of a regular upbringing type thing, like growing up where you grew up, or was it?
We grew up super poor. Pretty much for years. We were in a 1-bedroom apartment with 7 kids.
Wow.
I was the poorest kid in my class. Like probably not only in the class, like around me, the poorest family. And then we made up. Like my dad turned things around when I was closer to college, but I grew up very, very poor.
Really? Okay. Wow. And then, and you went to high school. You graduated high school.
Yep.
And
graduated high school, graduated college, went to university.
So you did all that in Russia.
Yep.
And what was your in high school? Were you like? Did you have like in Russia like jocks and nerds and that kind of stuff, or not really?
Of course. Like
Okay.
I think it's universal. I mean, you have different levels of I was the shortest guy in the class. I think when I was in 9th grade, the only one girl in my class was shorter than me. I grew up like I grew 6 inches in 1 year, and it was my 11th grade, pretty much, all the way to high school. So I was always shorty. My dad was always making fun of me. My dad is taller. Just for some reason, maybe Siberia affected me. I was super, super short, always underdog, but I was really, really good at basketball. And Russia is crazy, man. I used to play basketball, like horse game, with my gym teacher for beer. Like if I would lose, I would buy him a beer. And if he would lose, he would buy us a beer. You're talking about like when you're like 12, 13. You probably shouldn't play with your gym teacher for beer.
That would, like, you know.
But I was very, very good, and in my class we only have a couple guys. So other classes they have more boys, and we would go when we have competition. It would be 3 of us against 5, and I would never freaking lose. I was so competitive. I was the shortest, but I was. I still to this day I like, I'm real good with my threes.
Did you get into trouble back then when you were in high school? Were you a troublemaker, or were you more of like
No. I got bullied a lot.
Like bullied?
Really? A lot.
Really?
I was the shortest kid.
Because now you're like very confrontational. Well, you're not actually that confrontational.
I stood up for myself, but I'm competitive. So for example, we would play a basketball game, like typical story, and it would be in our class we have 5 guys, in the other class they have like 20, and we would be winning, like 3 beating 5, and they would come to us, and I remember like we won the game, and the guys just like locked me in the head. Like I knew I'm getting beat up in the locker room. Like I knew I have like knives next to my body. Like my nose would be bleeding in like 5 minutes. Like I knew it's all coming. I knew I'm gonna be beat up if I win that game, and I still would not lose it. So I got bullied a lot because I was smallest. I could, when you weigh I don't know, like 90 pounds. There's nothing you can do against guys who weigh like 150.
Wow. And so going through like how bad did it get? Like as far as bullying, like you get your teeth knocked out?
Oh yeah.
Really? Yeah. You had to fight a bunch
like
of guys off?
Do you see my nose?
Yeah.
Like it's crooked.
Really?
From that time.
So were you literally having to get in fist fights all the time? You learned how to fist fight?
Well, it's Russia. Like you pretty much. Here's how it goes. You go in, like let's say you go on the street and people come to you and say, well, do you have money? Well, you have only 2 options. Number 1, you say, you can lie, I don't. Or option number 2, you face it. It's like, yes, I do, but I need it. Now they know you need it. Like now they have to make a decision what they're going to do about it. And I would fight. I'm not, because if you lie, this is like a street rule. I don't know how it's here, but in Russia, if you lie, now you have no moral right to actually defend yourself. You're a liar. You deserve to lose your money. Okay. Now, if you have it, and sometimes they would back off. They see that, I learned how to, it's all in the face. It's all in your reaction. You can be the smallest. You can still, let them know you're not afraid. So I wasn't afraid. But sometimes they just didn't care. They still wanted it.
Like you grew up in an one-bedroom apartment. Like, was that an apartment complex?
Yeah.
And was the complex kind of a rough complex type thing, or?
Well, just typical Russia. I think the whole Russia is bad complex.
Okay.
Like Habib's story. So Habib, he's Dagestan. So in my city, there's a lot of people from Dagestan. Like for example, typical story. In my building, so it's a 5-story building. There's like 3 different inches. In the first one, we have a Dagestan family, and there's where Habib is from, right? So we used to fight a lot of them. Like a lot of street fights would be like Russians against Dagestan people, like Dagestan boys. And I remember like one of the kids were picking on me or whatever, so start fighting him. And I was in my dress shoes. I think he threw a rock at me. And we were like 12, 13. And I started fighting him. And when I tried to low kick him, he was trying to defend himself with a hand. And I broke his finger, like index finger, right? With because in the dress shoes. So I didn't do it on purpose. I just kick him in the toilet pretty much. So his dad came to like that evening. So when they went to the hospital, put stitches, whatever, like fix his finger. So his dad came to knock at our door. So my dad, I didn't say nothing to my parents, and we both got it. Like he beat me, whatever. So his dad came to my dad and say, "Your son broke my son's finger." And my dad said, "What do you want to do about it?" He's like, "I want you to pay for this medical bill." So if you're not going to leave right now, you will have medical bills. So my dad pretty much asked his dad to leave.
Wow.
That's freaking Russia.
That's Russia, huh? Wow.
Because my dad knew it was just a street thing. He did not want to deal with it, and he's like, they're boys. They fought, and we're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. And then you left high school. You finished school. You went to college in Russia, right? And then you went. Is that a 4-year college degree?
I got 3 years, and then I went to university 2 years, and after 2 years, I moved to the United States.
And when you went to, was going to the United States kind of like the thing for you, like one of those, like,
it was escape.
You see in the movies, like people who are in Russia, like, oh, the United States.
Yep. It's
the
exactly
American
how
dream.
it was. Exactly how it was.
Really?
It was
You're like, I'm going to get to the United States. I'm going to get to the United States.
And I'm not coming back.
Really?
That's exactly how it was.
Since you were a little kid? You kind of used to think like that?
Not little kid. It's just, you have the dream, like Hollywood built it in all around
Yeah.
the world. Everybody wants to come here. You don't see people want to live in Russia or China or other. It's just that American dream, and it was just a cool thing. And when I was in university, I heard about these programs. People, students went in and started making money here and didn't come back, and they settled. I'm like, I want that. I don't want to live here anymore.
And you, what was the process? You saved some money, bought a plane ticket and one-way ticket, and you just
pretty
went
much.
for
It took me
got your paperwork done.
It took me 1 year to learn enough English to pass to qualify for the program. I was my major was history. I always wanted to be a teacher, so I was supposed to be teacher of history. I learned about this program, but you have to know English. So literally, I started by myself. Like I was learning English by translating Eminem songs and watching Friends, and I was just watching it until I freaking could understand it. And then I passed the interview, came here. They gave me a visa for 4 months. I saved up some money, and I had $200 when I moved here, and then
wow. And you when you didn't have a place to stay, so you stayed in your car?
Well, it was a program. I was supposed to work 3 months in a camp in Wisconsin.
Okay.
And I got that done, and then after that they gave us a bus to Chicago, and then you're on your own. And that's where kind of life started. So I worked 3 months in a camp. I think we earned like $1,000. Bought my first car, Ford Taurus. The car did not make 100 miles. It died on the highway, literally. And pretty much I bought a pickle or lemon, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And and then after that, just become homeless.
Wow.
The funny part is, in my program, my ticket
when you
was.
talk about living in your car, that's when you started living in the car for the most part?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you kind of was it hard leaving? Were you thinking I made a wrong choice here, living in my damn car? I should probably go back to Russia with my family and go back to university.
The funny part is I did have round trips, so my program provided round trip tickets. So I still have ticket back, and I remember living in the car, no money, no job, and I still have a ticket back, and I tore it in pieces. So
wow.
I just not even tempted to go.
Yeah.
I would rather die in the streets than go back. That's
Wow.
how determined I was.
But you had to have missed your family. You had to have been thinking about your mom and dad. And your
But you
son,
have to think about bigger. I always thought, all my life, I'm a strategic planner. I don't think about a year, a month, or I think about 10 years, 20 years.
Okay.
You're talking about changing your family tree.
Okay.
I moved my parents here 3 months ago. When you're oldest of 7, you have to think about the future of those, siblings. Now my sister is here, one of them. So now, looking back, there's no regrets. And even then, I didn't have regrets, but I remember calling my parents while I was living in the car. We didn't have cell phones, but we could get prepaid phones, and I was calling my parents, lying to them how I'm living the dream now. My parents did not know I was living in the car.
America, and,
my parents did not knew that I was living in the car until 5 or 6 years later.
Wow, wow. Man, one thing that touched me emotionally, dude, is having people steal from you.
Sure.
And the way
Nobody ever stole from you?
Well, not like that. Where it's you're close people who are close to you. And we had a receptionist in the old company that stole, but we had a receptionist in the old company that stole, and she stole 26 grand. And then we found out, and her dad got a home loan, second mortgage, and gave us a check back and said sorry about that, basically. So that was our experience with that. But yeah, you had it really close to home, and what's crazy about it is you feel that there's no way to really prevent it, not even having, because there's some roofers out there who probably like, well, he didn't have good enough accounting controls, he didn't have a good enough controller, he didn't have this and that kind of thing. But you're saying no, it doesn't matter really what I would have done. These people would have succeeded in stealing.
That's why a lot of business owners, they control their accounting and their financing, because that's the craziest area of the business. If people want to steal, they'll find a way to steal. And usually the biggest stories, the biggest theft happens someone who is right there with the money, who's handling money. That's your Madoff cases. When you can move money, you can hide money, you can navigate money. Especially in roofing business, we have so much money. Average company will do millions. Even smaller players, even startups. So it's so easy to mismanage or navigate them. Like, person who wants to steal, he will find a way to steal.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was pretty crazy. I think it's important to hire correctly. It seems like, right?
Sure.
People that you trust, especially if they're involved with money. Obviously, there's a couple of things, like as far as making your videos. One thing that you said that's really interesting was that you pretty much, like, after you're done making the video, it's about ready to post it, you pretty much don't like any of the videos that you make.
Sure.
And can you talk a little bit about that? Because that seemed a little counterintuitive, because like you work so hard on making these videos, you put your heart and soul into them, you put it out there and you're like, I hate it.
If you are perfectionist, it's never good enough. So when you make a video, like if I make a video, publish it today, you look back, you know right away you could do it better.
Mm-hmm.
But the content is done, and it has to leave now, so it's good enough for right now. You'll just have to try it better next time. So I cannot watch myself on camera. Like, I cannot listen to myself. I will watch myself one time to improve the message, or to edit. Like my videographers edit my videos, so I have to go in. It's like, okay, it's good. And if it's something really bad, I'll tell them edit, cut it out, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I absolutely hate watching myself. Like, if you would pull my video right now in front of the class with any of my YouTube video, I would be embarrassed to watch myself.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't. Like, I can't watch myself. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't understand why people watch me, but I know when you know why you do what you do, it matters the most. I like reading comments. I like reading feedback, but I'm very critical of myself, and I cannot stand myself on camera.
Well, you've even said that you can't even stand. I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but you can't even stand the way you talk.
Yes.
You personally don't like your own accent.
Yes.
Right? And that's a little, because people who make videos, you think they really like themselves, they want to promote themselves, but you're like the exact opposite. You actually don't like your accent.
Because I know how imperfect I am. Like, even when I write something, I'm like, who speaks like that? I know mistakes I make. Sometimes almost the moment I say it, I can hear it. But it's not catching up. My English is getting better every year, but it's catching up. But I still hear me speaking mistakes, and camera unfortunately documents it.
Yeah.
So I know what perfection should be. I should be a director. Like, that's my strong suit. Like, not actor but director. Like, I can make you look really good on the video. I can film. I can say, hey, speak better. Like, smile, do this and this. But it's hard to do it for yourself. So when you watch yourself, it's like, dude, what are you doing? Who speaks like that? Smile, do it, right? So you can learn and you can try it better, but it's never good enough for yourself. It's hard to explain.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. It seems like you like confrontation. It seems like that online, but I don't. But the way you confront people about certain things is actually, my opinion is that it's very cordial. It's actually kind of polite. Every time I see you confronting, you're kind of like, I'm really not trying to get into a fight here with you. I'm just genuinely want to know why you're doing this. But then it's kind of like, I generally want to know why you're like ripping off other contractors. Like, it's, I don't know. It's
I love standing up for small guys. I like to do what's right, and I do like to call out people. And one of the reasons I do it, because I see that usually people agree with me, but not many people are willing to do it. So for me, it's a rule of content. You have to have a conflict in the movie. Like, you're not gonna watch a movie without conflict.
Yeah.
Whether it's poor against rich or whatever, there's gonna be conflict. So when you make a movie, or content, you have to call out something. It could be don't be poor, I'll teach you to be rich. That's conflict. So it's not always like, good guy versus bad guy. But I just can't stand any, I don't know how to explain it. I can't stand evil. If I see someone's doing evil, I have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like if I see you lying, I want to talk about why you're lying.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I see you stealing or you're not honest, I want to expose people, not because I'm perfect, but because I see that other people see it too, but nobody wants to say it. Like I want to be the guy who will talk about the elephant in the room.
Well, there seems to be something in you that because a lot of reasons that that I didn't get into social media is mainly I was afraid of trolls. Be straight up, I was just afraid of trolls, and ever since I saw Gary Vee talk at SVG a couple years ago, and I remember bumping into you then. I was kind of afraid of trolls. I wasn't doing anything wrong, but I was still kind of like, what's Dmitry gonna dig up on me? You didn't care about me, but still, I was. But then I kind of got over trolls, and the way you've been able to overcome. I mean, you've been trolled like crazy, right? I mean, you've been like really personally attacked, and even beyond trolls.
It's common. Once you.
How do you get over that?
You don't. It's always gonna you have to outsmart them. Good luck trolling me. Good luck calling me. The best thing you can do is to have perfect. I know my intentions, and I know my reputation. I know I do what's right. So when you don't have skeletons, I mean, we all have. Nobody's perfect. But I'm the one, for example, some people will say, well, Dmitry is drinking. I'm going to embrace my drinking. You want to talk about alcohol? Yeah, I drink. So what? What else you have? But if you say Dmitry is drinking and I'm going to start lying, no, I don't drink. Now we have a problem. So I never lie. When you're 100% open with yourself, with the public, with the audience, there's nothing to hide. Okay, go expose me. Good luck. I'm going to be the one.
You did a post though a while ago about that.
Yeah. And I will be the one who will tell you the story.
Do you remember Dale Childress?
Yep.
And so on that post that you did a while ago about the drinking, you went to jail, right? And then the next day you got out and you did a post.
Yep.
And Dale Childress, I remember he posted on there and said, Dmitry, you're an idiot. Take this down. You shouldn't be posting this. Don't put your personal life out there like that. And then other guys were like, oh, don't, hey, thank you for posting, and we all need, this and that. You did take it down, but did that Dale Childress quote, what he said, did that influence you on taking it down?
My wife did. That's what I only did it for my wife because it affected her. Because people will call my wife and tell her we'll feel bad for you. She understood it, but only because of my wife and the relationship with my wife, I did not want her to hurt because really it was be oh, you have alcoholic now, right? So I was, and I don't think I was necessarily alcoholic. I was just, I was honest, and I can tell the whole story. We actually was drinking here with my guys. It was so innocent. My guys felt so bad. It was 2-mile drive. It was stupid. I was stupid, and I was I'm not gonna hide it. I've done something stupid. I'm embarrassed. I'm over it.
You're very emotional too.
Yeah.
By nature.
Yeah.
I learned it here. I mean, you guys, the guy can't stop crying in class, okay? Made us all pretty much cry. And it's I feel maybe when that happened, you going to jail is a very emotional thing. That'd be really hard for
I actually don't care. For me, it was not about, I would not cry in jail. You can punch me, you can take everything from me. I don't cry about that. I will cry if you do some act of kindness, you give him money right now for no reason, you give him car, I'm gonna cry over it. Dude, why did you do it that? But me going to jail, I don't give a crap.
Yeah.
I don't.
Really? Wow.
But I want to share the story. I will cry over some haters because they freaking don't understand the message, but it's not.
And are you drinking now?
No.
You haven't gone back to drinking?
No, I've been drinking. I actually quit again. I every once in a while I'll go in sober for 3-6 months. I'm not Before that night, I didn't drink for like 3 weeks. It's not.
Okay.
I can quit anything in my, like I can quit coffee. I don't eat meat right now if I don't want to. Like it just doesn't matter. Like I have strong will.
Yeah. That's wow. So a roofing thing somebody asked too is, what's your opinion on just switching gears really quick, because
That's the last question. Okay.
Last question. Well, you know what? The last thing is, like, I think Roofing Insights obviously started as, like, you kind of got into video making through your business, to help your business. It helped you tremendously. You shared in the story. I mean, you shared in the class of how it helped, and it was really great seeing that. And then that led to you kind of getting stolen from and going through an extremely difficult year. And that led to you going kind of like downhill mentally and emotionally. And then you had like a spiritual experience watching your kids play and being with your kids for the most part. And you had this idea about Roofing Insights at that point.
Just me giving back, that's all it is.
That's what it was.
Well, it was just, in business, we're so if you talk to any major billionaire, they will tell you there is going to come time in your life when you will realize that giving is more rewarding than receiving. And that was the moment for me. Like I was living an American dream, right? What else do you want? You have nice house, you have nice car. What do you want? So that's why a lot of billionaires, they start charities, they start organizations to give back. When you start giving back, I believe you start truly living. So your business still runs. It still makes you money. It's still your bread and butter. But when I started the Roofing Insights, like it was my why. Right? I made it, and it was easy for me, but it's not as easy for other people. So now, like I still enjoy my American dream life, but when you give back, it's even better.
That's what Roofing Insights is about.
Yep. So you give, because for years we were not profitable. I was in red. I was financing the whole thing. Since it's been only 4 months, we were in green. Since it's become like real business. Now I run 2 businesses: Roofing Insights business and Storm Group is a business. But it's 4 months out of 3 years. So you do the math.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, look, I think we have an audience here too, guys. I mean, everyone in the class was here, and it was really. They wanted to see this interview and stuff, and we really appreciate it for the YouTube channel. I have a startup YouTube channel myself, and we're really Chris is helping me develop it, and I think we're gonna one day make it. We're kind of like inspired by Roofing Insights, and inspired by all the YouTube people.
Good luck with the trolls, and don't get in my scam alert playlist. Thank you, man.
Let's hope we don't get on there. Yeah, thank you. All right, yeah, see you. All right.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you, guys. Sorry, I have to cut out.